Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So, I just finished watching Hocus Pocus 2, and I just got done doing my Hocus Pocus 1 review. And now, I have to admit, Hocus Pocus 2 is pretty good. It's really good. I don't know if it's like on par with Hocus Pocus because of the nostalgia feel, or if it's a little bit better than Hocus Pocus. But I do have to admit, I'm kind of tossed on this one because, like, yes, I agree with I kind of do agree with Chris from C3 Films or Side Films or whatever the channel is, which awesome dude. Love to like meet him and pick his brain and have a really deep movie conversation with him. But it did kind of feel like I do have to agree with him. It did feel like a Disney Channel TV movie, but it kind of, in a weird way, a little bit works for a streaming service, in my opinion. But that's nor here or there. But the way they come back is interesting, and I just got done watching Kelly Clarkson's review, which honestly I did not. 2 years ago, fun fact, speaking of Kelly Clarkson, I had no idea she had a TV show or a talk show until I saw like clips of her talk show, and I was like, wait, what? Kelly Clarkson has a TV show? Has a talk show? Since when? What? But no, I kid. But yeah, that was just like a little side note. But oh my god, I love Hocus Pocus 1. I grew up on Hocus Pocus 1, and that movie came out 3 years before I was freaking born, and I freaking love it. Every year, it's one of my guilty pleasures. That and Hocus Pocus and Halloween Town are my favorite Halloween season or Halloween type movies to watch. And I thought it was more like a passing of the torch, kind of like, okay, here we are 29 years later, almost 30 years later, and it kind of felt like a Sanderson sister witch passing the torch, which I thought was unique, but I understood. It was like a sort of nostalgic passing the torch type of thing. And it does make a point that it literally makes a point that it is a sequel, and it kind of, it has tons and tons of references and callbacks and flashbacks as well. It has flashbacks to the, it has some flashbacks of the original, which I thought was nice. You know, you could have a flashback and tell a flashback in a new, interesting way. And so it and yes, there are going to be spoilers. So, and what I found interesting was how it opens up. It opens up on a young Bette Midler's character, Winnie, who's it's her birthday and she's like storming off, walking home. Back in we open up in like 1653, which if I'm doing my math right, which would make the Sanderson sisters born in 1639. If Winnie's born in, if Winnie's 16 in 1653, she was probably born around like 1639. Mary was probably born around like 1640, 1641. And Sarah, played by Sarah Jessica Parker, was probably born somewhere around 1642 to maybe 1643. If I'm doing my math right, which would make sense. Give or take 1642. Yeah, somewhere around there. And yeah, we get a little tweak of how the Sanderson sisters got book, which I thought was interesting, you know, tell that little backstory, tie it all together in some way to the original, but don't like overdo it. And they didn't really overdo it, in my opinion, which kind of is interesting because like there are a lot of callbacks, or there are quite a bit of callbacks and references to the original, and I thought that was really nice, you know. The flashback that we see is interesting because we get the store person, the person who runs the Sanderson sisters' house / museum, is we get an interesting backstory of where he was and how he was around during like 1993. And like as he's explaining to the Sanderson sisters that he saw them back in 1993 on Halloween in 1993, because a group of kids, older kids, meaning, which was, if you didn't realize, it was a reference and a callback to that scene where Ice and the blonde dude, I forget his name, were stealing candy and making kids give them their candy. And it was interesting because like it was understandable, kind of touching, but it makes the original so much better, in my opinion, because we get a new look, a new take on the original that we haven't seen before or really noticed before, because it was just mainly focused on Max, Danny, and Vanessa or Victoria, or whatever her name was in the movie. And then them battling the Sanderson sisters at the end, which was kind of nice. And there are two musical numbers. One is very, very catchy. The Witches Are Back. Very catchy. I think that's the most catchiest tune since it's been Agatha all along. Like that is like so freaking catchy. And then then later on in the movie they sung "I'm Gonna Get Ya One Way or Another," which they changed some lyrics around, which was interesting, but I don't think it was really needed or necessary, but I understand. Like, it was a nice witch passing the torch type of thing, and I kind of liked it, which I think it makes the original just by having and seeing some of the nuances and like references to the original that we haven't seen before. I think it actually makes the original so much better than what we have known to come and love. And it just makes it 10 times better, which if they do make a third film or a third installment, I wouldn't not be too opposed to it, but I think the way the Sanderson sisters arc was or is at this point was neatly wrapped. But if they want to tell another Sanderson sister story of something we haven't seen before, by all means go right ahead and do it if it makes sense, but beautifully done. The cast, like, it's well casted, and we get like 4 of the original cast, which is nice to see because like it kind of makes sense. Like we get Winnie, we get Mary, we get Sarah, we get Billy Butcherson, which those four, at least those four work, you know. And then we have the new cast, which is kind of interesting because it's more like, okay, the next four is more like modern day witch stuff in today's world, and yeah, it was interesting. I mean, some parts weren't great, but hey, it worked in my opinion. But yeah, not too bad. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys so far for right now. Please like, share, subscribe, and if you want to comment what you thought and whatnot. But yeah, anyways, once again, that's all I have for you guys so far for right now. Please like, share, subscribe, and have a good day. Thanks. Bye.